Hello, I'm Rich Dean with West Coast Collector Cars in Oregon, and today I've got an absolutely beautiful 1955 Chevrolet First Series pickup to show you. This is one of the nicest Chevy trucks I've ever seen, and it is very highly accessorized and was completely frame-off restored by a local company here that just does magnificent work. Beautiful work. And I'm going to take you around and show you this. I think you'll be impressed. I know I am. But anyway, it's finished in the color called Ocean Green, and it's a base coat clear coat. And as you may be able to see, it's very nice and deep. Very high-end, very quality paint. The shut lines, which I always look at, nice. Beautiful paint. All the chrome and bright work has been either re-chromed or new or refinished. It's just an absolutely beautiful truck. Now, you'll notice that on the front here and also on the back you have these spears, and I really think this was a Suburban. This would have been on a Suburban, probably not on a truck, but you know, it looks good on here. And they managed to basically massage them so that they would fit the truck nicely. It really adds a nice element to it, I think. Two-tone, as you can see, the color here, this is a little bit different green than the exterior, but it really works well on the truck. The door panels are new. This seat, this split bench here, would have been an option, and actually when you're driving around in the truck, that driver's seat portion articulates. I'll try to show you that when we get over there. But at any rate, everything in here is just restored absolutely beautifully. That is a new old stock heater there that you see. This is the little, you turn this to warm the temperature up. The radio is a tube radio and it does work. Headliner, nice. This is a hat rack. You would have put your hat in there, hold it. And of course your little dome light, that works. This is a 5-window cab, which would be the deluxe cab of the era. All of the weather stripping and so forth, of course, was replaced when the truck was painted. And you can see, you know, the level of paint quality in here too. No scratches in the paint, no odd images coming out of the paint. Again, weather stripping, nice and pliable here. Shut lines, nice and even, probably better than it was new. The bed, they went ahead and made these bed sides here. These are oak as well, and of course they're nicely finished, but they've also got these stainless fasteners everywhere you look. The nice paint. The quality on this truck is exemplary. Wheels and tires, these are the factory wheel covers, you know, with the painted the same color as the truck rims, and these are actually bias ply tires. And I got to tell you, this truck absolutely drives excellent, even on the bias plies, which is unusual. Usually you get a bias ply on a vehicle and it kind of follows the ruts and so forth, but I've driven the truck and I was actually impressed with the way it drove even on those bias plies, so no issue there. Drives excellent. Look back here, the tailgate, very nice. Even in here, you know, where this thing would normally be swinging around, you know, the paint's nice and new in here too. Beautiful chrome bumper, all nicely finished. It's got a little license plate light here. Everything works on the truck, everything. Oak bed, stainless slats, again, you know, stainless fasteners throughout the truck, as you can see. Here's these spears back here that I talked about. They're on the front fender and the rear fender on both sides, but they look really nice. It kind of add a nice element to the truck. Matching spare, you know, mounted here. Looks nice. It's really, this is really a truck you would take to a car show. I mean, it's just there won't be a nicer one at the car show. Let me see if I can kind of show you what this seat will do. I don't know if I can or not, but as you're driving down the road, you might be able to see it kind of, you know, move with you, you know, and that kind of cushions the ride a little bit. It's kind of on little hinges and so forth, which, you know, in a truck, you know, these trucks, they're trucks, so they you know, have a little bit of a stiffer ride to them, and this seat just kind of helps with that. But while I'm here, let me show you some of these attributes here. This little switch here is correct for the fog lamps. This is your heater switch, so you got several levels of the furnace, a little heater trying to turn on there. This is a tube radio, by the way. And so
maxillofacial surgeons with more than 60 years.
You can kind of hear the radio working there. This is an actual 4-speed Hydro-matic transmission. And so I want you to see the shift quadrant here. You can see that. So it's an automatic. This steering wheel is correct for the truck. However, the individual that had this truck commissioned to be restored had this wheel cut down a little bit. And so it's not quite as big as the 18-inch wheel that it would have been. It's been cut down to probably about a 16-inch wheel. And that's fine because this truck has power steering. So that's a nice feature too, of course. And power front disc brakes, believe it or not. So he did do some nice upgrades to the truck that make it a pleasure to drive. A couple other things you might notice is a little flashlight holder here. This is kind of neat. You see this kind of a vintage flashlight, you know. Fits right in there. The little vent works up here, or call it your AC vent or interior vent. This is, because it's got this visor on here, which is also an extra cost option, it has this little device here. So this is so that when you pull up to a traffic signal, you might not be able to see it because of the visor, so you would watch this and then, you know, you would see it, the light change from red to green, then you'd know you could go. Little fog light, or your spotlight here, of course that works. Emergency brake works excellent. This is just a magnificent truck. All the glass is beautiful and crisp. All of the chrome is brand new. All the whiskers and the doors, windows roll up and down nicely. It's got these little window visors here which cut down on you know, your wind noise, and perhaps, you know, directs rain away from you a little bit. This is the correct mat. This is a carpeting that he had made just so that, you know, he wouldn't be touching the actual original style mat here. Again, all the stainless, all the chrome, beautiful. Nice big bumper guard here. Chrome bumper, even painted the cream right in here, as you can see. And check it out, T3 headlights, vintage. Everything works great. I'm telling you, this is one of the nicest trucks you're gonna see. So let me jump under the hood here. Now this truck originally, back in 1955, 54, 55, would have been a 235 6-cylinder, most likely. Now, this engine is a 261. It's called the Job Master. And the 261 being a little bit bigger, they would have used this engine in a bus or maybe, you know, like a 2-ton truck. But they really make a viable option, a nice option, you know, for a standard half ton. And one of the cool things about this engine is the thermostat, and what it did is it kind of served a little bit of a dual purpose. And what it would do is it would allow coolant to flow through the engine a little bit before the thermostat actually opened up, and the rationale for that was it would prevent hot spotting inside the engine. Dual carbs on this one. Again, power steering. This is this is interesting. This is a filter for your cooling system, and the idea was that it kind of kept contaminants or scaling away or out of, and would filter it out of your cooling system. Interesting. Notice the little light work in there. This is overflow for your coolant, for your radiator system. This is just a vent tube. If water got down in where the vent was, it would drip out here. Yeah, everything was just done excellent. If you take a look at everything, you know, the firewall and under the hood, just the whole package, this truck is just, it's beautiful. I love this truck, man. So what I'd like to do now is I'll hop in the truck, I'll start it, and I'll just drive it around the parking lot a little bit so you can kind of see it move under its own power. Hear it run. Runs great, drives very nicely. Power steering and, you know, and brakes and so forth just make it just that much more pleasurable to drive. You wouldn't have been able to probably get power steering or power brakes back in this time, but you know, you don't really see them, you know, on the truck, so it kind of makes it for a nice upgrade that you can actually utilize the truck. Now, what I should point out to you is the website, westcoastcollectorcars.com, and the reason I bring you to that point is you'll be able to see the undercarriage of the truck, and of course, being a frame off, it's beautiful under there. It's just it's an excellent truck. It's among the nicest around ever. So let me do that for you real quick. Come back. Yeah, one finger power steering. Pretty nice in a truck of this vintage. I also didn't mention it actually has a clock. Now the clock is you know, center right here, and you actually have to, you kind of have to wind it. So when you get up in the morning, you know, and you're heading to work in the truck, I'd probably suggest, you know, you wind that clock a little bit. At any rate, everything works, all the gauges work, all the lights work, all the accessories work. Best truck you're going to find. At any rate, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Again, my name is Rich Dean. This is West Coast Collector Cars. My number is 503-851-6763, and thank you for watching today.